Good morning and welcome to the 12th Regulators and Policymakers Retreat being conducted by the Independent Power Producers Association of India here at Goa in India. I'd like to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen and viewers across the world, whoever sees this on the internet, to Mr. M Nerurkar, Managing Director, Tata Steel. Sir, welcome to the retreat.
Thank you.
Sir, we'd like to know, IPPAI has been studying corporate social responsibility, inclusive growth, sustainable development, not just in terms of the environment, the natural environment, but of communities that are linked directly or indirectly to corporate operations across India and indeed across the world. The Economist magazine recently rated Jamshedpur as the #1 township in the world, as recent as about 8 months back. So we'd like to know if Tata's or any other corporate group is going to spend such a large amount on maintaining infrastructure around its plant and indeed running a township, how does it explain this to its stakeholders in terms of profitability and other things that other corporates, the dilemmas that other corporates face?
It's a very genuine question because many times people have asked us that why do you spend so much money on the betterment of the society, betterment of the township, betterment of the surrounding areas. Township, at least we have a bit of a selfish interest, which is our own people live there. But the areas where we don't have anything, any business interest or anything, which is outside the sphere of Jamshedpur or in the raw material areas, also we spend a lot of money and do a lot of work for the people. Because, and first and foremost, let me explain it like this. Just because we spend this money does not mean that we are inefficient or we are not caring for our costs. We ensure that we also try to remain one of the most efficient steel companies in the world. And that is not just because we have our own raw materials or anything of that sort. Purely by operating practices, we benchmark with the best and we try to remain on that. So, cost and marketing and customer service and supply chain, I think we would like to compete with the best in the world on the equal terms. And that's what we ensure. So, spending money on township, spending money on society has nothing to do with the efficiency of the company. These are two different things. And what one has to ensure is that whatever is your progress, the society is always with you. Because again, as I mentioned some time back, our founders' principles are very sacred to us, and those are give back to society many times more what you take from it, and the purpose of the industrial house is to serve the society in which it exists.
There was one point of time when I remember that the state government of Bihar wanted to privatize the running of Jamshedpur. They wanted to take that over and turn it into a municipality. And the citizens of Jamshedpur came out on the streets and protested. And the government realized that virtually everybody in Jamshedpur, right down to 100%, is not in favor of the government taking over. They very much like things the way they are, and they'd want Tata Steel to continue running the township ad infinitum. Further back, when the government in the 1970s wanted to privatize Tata Steel, there was a similar movement. So the fact is, Tata Steel is like an unelected favorite and darling of the masses. It provides them employment. It provides them with a secure livelihood. It's like a lifestyle. So you know that your generations, even after you pass away, will be safe and secure. Why can't we replicate this across India, sir, where just about 50, 60 or 70 kilometers away from the Tata Steel plant, or a little further, you have the Naxalite problem, you had trains getting derailed, you had Tata Steel itself suffer and people in Jamshedpur suffer when your trains are stopped and they're not allowed to proceed because the Naxalite problems is existing a little further.
Now, this is a difficult one to answer in the sense we do in our own areas what we believe is best for the community. And again, if you go back into the history, the medical services or the town services or the welfare activities is not something which was done because when it became fashionable, but it was done right from inception of the company. So that's something like it's a basic ground rule which you need to do well, and that's what has helped us a lot. Now, whether this model can be replicated across is an extremely difficult question to answer because In fact, even in policymakers, I have seen many views which say that no, no, why should you, a private company run the town? It is a job of the government or the municipalities. And now you just heard Alex saying that he wants to see how some of the municipalities can be privatized. So these are the debates which will continue to happen. The answer is very clear. Why we want to run the town is because what we have seen is no township runs as well as our township, at least in our country. And if we don't run our town well, our employees will not be happy, our associates will not be happy, and then if I have unhappy employees, my company will not do well.
So, time and again in the regulators' retreat, we have come across the central question of leadership. You know, the kind of example that the leader sets for the rest of his company or for his government is the kind of example that the rest of the people follow. What do you think, sir, in your few years or in your many years, as an employee and now as a boss of a mega steel plant, what have you learnt about leadership, sir?
I think credibility and trust are very, very important attributes of the leadership. And if you see our own leaders, which is going back way back to the founder, then Sir Durab Tata or Mr. J.R.D. Tata or now Mr. Ratan Tata, for them always leadership, the Tata logo actually is the leadership or theme is leadership with trust. Because what is most important is if you have promised something, you must deliver. And you must be extremely fair and compassionate when you are dealing with people. I think these are the 2-3 simple principles which the group has followed right from its inception, and that's and value and ethics system which is quite famous. Now these are once you join the company, you are there for some time, you do realize, though nobody tells you very specifically that this is what it is, that these are the things which are just not open for discussion. Anything beyond that you can interpret and you can have your own way or anything like this. But some basic principles on values and ethics, leadership with trust, and extreme level of credibility with the society, these are not open for discussion. And that's the way, this is what you learn and this is what you practice.